Growing up, The Brady Bunch was just one of those shows that always seemed to be on TV. I wasn't the show's biggest fan. My favorites were Star Trek, Batman, Leave It to Beaver, and Andy Griffith. But that said, I always found hanging out with the Brady family to be a fairly pleasant experience. Which is why I was very excited when the Bradys made their return to network television, CBS this time, in 1988 for a one-shot TV movie titled The Very Brady Christmas. And all of the Bradys were back, along with the actors playing them. Well, most of them actually, because if you're a die-hard Brady nut, you know that actress Susan Olsen, who played Cindy, didn't appear. She was newly married, and it turns out that her honeymoon conflicted with the shooting schedule, or so they said, and because of that, she took a pass on what turned out to be the second highest rated TV movie of the 1988-89 television season. And in her place was actress Jennifer Runyon. And it turns out that Jennifer did a really great job subbing for Susan. So much so, in fact, that I started asking myself, where have I seen this beautiful lady before? Was it the 1980 Christmas-themed slasher flick To All a Good Night, with a murderous Santa Claus creating all sorts of mayhem in a private school during their holiday break? Jennifer was definitely memorable in that movie as Nancy, one of the students who foolishly decides not to go home for the holidays. I can say with certainty that it wasn't her recurring appearance during the early 80s playing Sally Frame on the soap opera Another World. I don't think I ever even watched an episode of that particular daytime drama that ran on NBC from 1964 to 1999. And I really couldn't find a good picture of Jennifer from her time on Another World. So here's another great picture instead. Not sure where or when it's from, but I like it a lot. Nope, truthfully, I think the first movie where I really noticed Jennifer was a very small but memorable part that she had in Ghostbusters. Who can forget that scene where the young man, who was truly somewhat psychic, receives jolt after jolt of electricity, all because Bill Murray's Peter Venkman is smitten with Jennifer's character. I also remember her from another movie in 1984, Up the Creek, which wasn't as funny as Ghostbusters, but Jennifer did get a ton more screen time, and that movie had a really cool title song from Cheap Trick. Later on during the 80s, Jennifer would be cast as Gwendolyn Pierce during the first season of Charles in Charge. Truthfully, if you're a fan of this show, let me know in the comments section which family you like the most. The Pembroke family from season 1 on CBS, or the Powell family for the remaining 4 seasons when the show transitioned to syndication. Jennifer has talked in the past about how much she really enjoyed working on Charles in Charge and how comfortable both Scott Baio and Willie Ames made her feel. Speaking of Willie Ames, Jennifer considers him a lifelong friend, and along with Susan Olsen, she has co-hosted a podcast titled Fluid. And if you're asking yourself, are we talking about the same Susan Olsen who Jennifer replaced as Cindy Brady? I absolutely am. And the story about how Jennifer became friends with Susan is a pretty darn good one. So good, in fact, I think I will save it for another video. Jennifer also had the honor of appearing in the very first 2 episodes of Quantum Leap. I really love the original version of this show. One of these days I'm going to publish a video dedicated solely to my memories of it. But today we're here to talk about Jennifer, who made a handful of additional movies and guest appearances on TV during the early 90s and then just kind of completely disappeared after 1993. So what happened and where did she go? Well, let's find out. To start, let me introduce you to this feller. His name is Todd Corman, and he has had an immensely successful career as a women's basketball coach at the collegiate level. Somewhere along the way, during the late 80s and early 90s, Jennifer met Todd, and well, they fell in love. The next thing you know, she was married, and somewhere along the way, a decision was made to semi-retire and focus on family. Jennifer and Todd have 2 amazing kids who had the blessing of a mother who dedicated her life 24/7 to them while they were growing up. In the past, Jennifer has talked about how her mother wasn't able to stay home with her when she was young and how important it was to be there for her children. I know not everyone can do it, but speaking from my own completely biased personal perspective as someone who had a mom at home with them growing up, I totally agree with Jennifer that if you're able to pull it off, it is definitely the way to go. A few years back, with her kids all grown up, Jennifer started entertaining offers again, and because of that, she popped up in a trio of horror-based projects that most likely went straight to streaming. There was 2015's Silent Night, Bloody Night 2 Revival, 2016's anthology movie Terror Tales, and perhaps the best one of them all, 2017's Bloodsucker Jones vs. The Creeping Death. Now, I've never heard of any of these movies, but this last one here seems like it might really be worth checking out. I feel like it's really important to talk about Jennifer's philanthropic work as well. She's friends with the co-founder of the retailer Tilly's and has lent her support for Tilly's Life Center, TLC, which focuses on the mental health struggles that many teens face. As a father of 3 young men, I truly appreciate endeavors such as this one, and I am happy to see Jennifer helping out with it where she can. And these days, if you want to catch up with Jennifer on social media, you'll need to head on over to Instagram and request permission to follow her there. As you can see, I've made my request. Now I'm just waiting for an answer. Before I go, I definitely need to give a shout out to the Quantum Leap podcast, who interviewed Jennifer a while back. I thoroughly enjoyed that interview and wholeheartedly recommend that you check it out. I'll post a link to it right here on YouTube in the description section of this video. There's so much that I didn't talk about in this video, like Jennifer working with George Burns in 18 Again. You'll hear about that in the interview, so definitely check it out. And a huge thank you to all those folks who have clicked on that little join button and become supporting channel members. Along with advance access to videos and exclusive live streams, they have my complete and total appreciation. And to everyone who watched this video all the way to the very end, thank you very much as well. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, maybe even subscribe to the channel. I talk about music, movies, and mostly TV from decades gone by. You know, the good stuff.